Hello and welcome to the Corporate Storytime Podcast series. My name is Lucas Robinson, the host of the podcast. On this pod, I'll get the opportunity to talk to ASX company leaders and innovators as they run through their personal executive journeys and the stories behind the companies they are helping to grow today. I'll be leveraging my experience as a former stockbroker and my current role with investor relations consultancy, Corporate Storytime. But enough of that. For now, let's gather round, come in close, and let me tell you a story. Hello and welcome back to the Corporate Storytime Podcast. Today I'm pleased to be joined by Phil Carter, CEO of 49Metals. 49Metals recently listed on the ASX post a $10 million IPO with gold exploration assets in Nevada in the USA. Located in between Reno and Las Vegas, 49Metals projects sit on the Walker Lane trend, which has yielded historical production of 80 million ounces of gold and 700 million ounces of silver. Phil, you've recently returned from a site visit to observe the activities in Nevada, and I know you're excited about that trip. Before we get into that, and I know you've straddled the technical and corporate side of the mining sector, where did your career in the resources space start?
Yeah, thanks, Lucas. Good to be here. And started back in the early 2000s out in Kalgoorlie. I spent probably 5 or 6 years in the goldfields region of Western Australia, learning the craft on your greenstone belts around WA. After that, I moved into sort of mining contracting, working for some of the bigger mining contracts, Western Australia, doing a range of things from project management through to estimating, business development, and I suppose managing some projects also in Australia and offshore, and then sort of made a change into broking. What's that in the sort of around 2018 or so? Made a change into broking as a resource analyst for a couple of different broking firms, and then just more recently decided to make the switch back to mining again. And really excited to be where I'm at now, running a pretty prospective Nevadan gold explorer.
Yeah. So you saw the light from the broking industry as much as I did.
I did, yes, that's right. It's good fun. Has some challenges, but it's a really good industry to be part of, and I learned a lot, obviously, about I suppose how the world works, how investment banking works, and how to fund some of these really exciting stories.
Yeah. So Gold Mountain is the company's flagship project.
Yep.
An RC program is underway there?
It is, yes. So obviously just came back from site there. The drillers were on site when I was there, sort of managing some of that program. Last week we had an announcement saying we finished 9 holes. As of last night, hole 11 was just TD'd. So everything going along fine operationally with I think 10 of the holes now are in lab for assays. We're starting to get a few of the first holes filter through now. So we are starting to get some really initial results come through. So hopefully an announcement isn't too far away on some first results.
Excellent. Oh, that's an exciting point in time for the company.
Exciting times, yeah.
So we hear a lot about Nevada as being a tier 1 mining destination. The Fraser Institute often has it right up the top of the sort of regions and jurisdictions for mining. Tell us about the mining history, particularly in relation to gold in that state. Yeah,
it's a gold mining state. Gold was discovered there 150 years ago, 170 years ago. It's really strong. It's the biggest gold mining state in the country. And I suppose if you narrow it or expand it a bit, I think it's the 6th or 7th largest jurisdiction globally. So it's really a big player in the gold space. We've seen recently that Barrick is looking at spinning out their Nevada gold assets into its own IPO. So clearly a lot of action in Nevada for gold projects. We are seeing a lot of ASX interest as well in buying assets in Nevada. It is a gold mining state, as I mentioned. There's access to geologists and technical support and drillers. It's really easy to get those kind of services. So yeah, really happy to be there. And again, it's a low tax environment state as well. So it's a very beneficial place to do business in.
Yeah, it sounds like it is open for business for the sort of work that you're doing there.
Absolutely too. And permitting so far for us has been really easy too. We were on patented ground, so we haven't needed too much permitting, but I spoke to the BLM when I was there, and yeah, no issues at all. As long as we do the right things, permitting is really quick turnaround, particularly in our part of the world around Tonopah there.
Yeah. And I mentioned in the intro that 80 million ounces have been produced in the Walker Lane trend, which is where your projects sit. I mean, to put that into perspective, just sort of doing a little bit of backgrounding before the chat, the Kalgoorlie Golden Miles produce 65 million ounces.
Yeah, it's a really big gold producing area. I mean, I think people take it for granted sometimes how much gold is in this district, right? So Walker Lane Trend hosts two really good deposits. Obviously, you've got Round Mountain, which is, I think it was a 21 million ounce resource all told, and then the new Anglo Gold Discovery Silicon Merlin, which is about 100k south of us. That's sort of 16 million ounces now. A really, really good discovery, and just shows the potential that some of these really big projects can be found, at depth in some of these areas.
Yeah, and what's the typical sort of processing method that you're likely to see in gold operations?
So
in this part of the
typically
world?
Nevada's mostly heap leach gold. And heap leach is really cheap way to mine. It's sort of bread and butter Nevada mining. It means you can mine quite what we would say in Australia, quite low grade. You can mine. You cut off grade for some of these projects is sort of can be 0.2, right? You just everything comes out, and you basically treat all of your low grade ore, and you can produce X amount of gold out of that, subject to your recoveries. It's a really cheap and efficient way to do processing over there, and we see potential. We haven't done the work on our project just yet, but we see a similar pathway forward if we can prove an economic resource.
Yeah, and to that end, one of your neighbours is the Hasbrook Gold Project, which is owned by a company called Westfold Mining. Where are they listed?
So they're listed on the TSXV. They're capped at about 130 million, I think, last I checked. It might be a bit lower last couple of days. The Hasbrook Project has got 700,000 ounces of gold, and I think 7 million ounces of silver, I think. Grades are sub half a gram dirt. And these guys can produce, their PFS suggests they can produce for under $900 an ounce US.
Yeah, that's what struck me as being
using heap
an
leach as well.
number.
So it's really cheap mining over there, and quite low capex numbers too. So Hasbrook aren't developing theirs just yet. They're fully permitted. We're waiting to see what they're going to do with their project, but it gives us a really good, I suppose, roadmap for us. We've got a non-JORC resource of just under half of what they've got. We've got 462,000 ounces of similar grade material at Hasbrook. It's non-JORC, it's historical in nature, but we're sort of halfway there to being a Hasbrook. So it gives us a really good roadmap to build from, increase that resource in due course, and potentially follow the same processes as Hasbrook are doing.
Yeah, and so the drilling that's going on currently, it's obviously in and around that non-JORC compliant resource, but also I know that you've got an IP anomaly that has sort of got a few pulses racing that you're out there testing as well.
Yeah, so we've got a sort of a two-pronged strategy to our current drilling. We're doing some really blue sky, I suppose you'd call it elephant hunting holes, chasing this IP anomaly, which has never been drilled before. It's sitting about sort of 300 metres deep below the surface. We think it's the IP anomaly suggesting it could be disseminated sulphides at this depth of about 300 metres or so. And we know there's quite a strong association with pyrite and gold. A lot of our gold we've found to date. So we're just going to put 3 holes actually into this IP anomaly just to see what's down there, test the stratigraphy, get some geochem analysis of what's going on down there, and hopefully obviously find lots of pyrite. And if we do find lots of pyrite, hopefully lots of gold too. So there's some blue sky targets we're going to be chasing. Beyond that, again, we've got a couple of holes around, not too far the existing non-JORC resource, test for maybe some small extensions to that and confirm some of the old high-grade numbers we found within that resource. And also a couple of other targets sort of further up the mountain, what we call the adit zone, chasing some areas of known gold mineralisation sort of down dip and along strike. See if we can build out that area a bit and justify perhaps more drilling in that area next time around.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier the silver potential here as well. I understand that there's some old silver workings on. There is some.
Yeah, when it was first discovered, it was first discovered initially as a silver project when it was very first discovered. And there's a silver pit that was mined in the 80s. We don't have a lot of information of what came out of this pit. You go down there now. I was just on the site a few weeks ago, and you can kind of see the structure in the wall there. We think that's got high grade silver in it. We're going to do some sampling of that in due course, and potentially a few holes below the pit, perhaps next time around. But we know there's samples in the pit of up to sort of 1,000 grams a tonne silver. So we know there is some rich high-grade silver veins there. We don't normally find really high grade associated with a gold. This might just be a pure silver lode only. So we'll do some work on that in due course and try to understand what's going on there.
Okay, lots going on. So, I mean, where would you like to see yourself in 12 months' time?
Well, look, 12 months' time. Hopefully, we're still drilling. Hopefully, we've got some really good numbers in either this IP anomaly or these other sort of structurally controlled zones that we know exist on the mountain. Hopefully, we're still drilling and we're building on potentially a discovery that we've made where perhaps previous operators may have missed, and looking out to hopefully build out an economic resource, in the next sort of couple of years.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're in a great position with money in the bank, active exploration programs already begun, and a pipeline of news flow that's due to come through from all of that activity. And within one of the world's great gold mining regions, I note that, 3 of the world's top 10 gold mines are actually in the state of Nevada. So, I think with a fairly minimal enterprise value that the company sort of has at the moment, you've got an enormous leverage for incoming investors and existing shareholders as well.
Yeah, look, I agree. We're really excited. We're about there doing the work. If we can find some good numbers and prove this as this gold mine could be potentially an economic gold project in the future, then I think we're in a really good position to build this company further.
Well, congratulations on the journey so far. Congratulations on getting the company through to the ASX and via the IPO route. It's not an easy journey. But you look to have a fantastic project in the right commodity, in the right location. So all the very best.
No worries. Thanks, Lucas. Yeah, we'll just keep doing the work and we'll hopefully, fingers crossed, some good numbers.
Nice one.
Cheers, Lucas.
Thanks, mate. If you enjoy the show, please share it with your friends, follow the podcast and give us a like wherever you download it. And if you have any feedback, please drop us a line at info@corporatestorytime.com. Thanks and all the best.